Hello, this is Gerald Helvans. Once you start to learn to work with the positions of letters and how you understand them is already a bit more clear, where they originate, what they are associated with, and from which point onwards you can associate certain qualities. If that is already becoming clear, there is an additional problem there, that the order of letters in a word doesn't show very well where these origins actually combine, how they combine, because you have a starting point, you have a moving point, and you have a kind of context. If you switch the order from 1 to 2 to 3 into a different order, it is confusing, so we have to have a method to make that a bit more clear, how you make such changes possible. And although every letter has a 1, 2, 3 rule everywhere, the 1, 2 and 3 as 3 categories, as category in space into 1 focus, the number 2 into 2 focus or into a time context, and the number 3 into a contextual environment in the background, actually, where you select actually the process that is important at that point. But the 1, 2, 3 rule is everywhere. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And if every letter has a numerical position into this 1, 2, 3 rule. So the A is in the first position, the 2 is in second position, the K is in third position. These positions matter. But these positions are not the same in words. So there is a problem that you have to deal with that. So the order is as an origin remains the same. So like an A is always in the number 1. If it moves up, okay, it's still the number 1. It's like you are on a point of foundation on the earth, and if you move around, it's still on that same foundation. The level doesn't change, the positions doesn't change, but it has to move as well, because sometimes the word says, okay, just move that center point of vision. So I move it, and it's a new center point of vision. So the qualities remain the same, but the order makes the intention actually also different, and it reveals itself also by having a different order. And it's the same as in words, actually. I will give an example later. But the intentional qualities change by that, because when you have A as a first letter and in the first position, it's a center point and it's a fixed point, and you remain there. If it's in the second position, you already move towards that one, and you say, okay, I have a move here somewhere, so I'm doing that, but this move towards that still remains it, that I move towards that point of origin, which is a bit further. That's almost like you have you can recognize these qualities by in a way you need to learn to interpret that in a way as well. And I give examples, but it's the same in words, and I just have here in the order of words. The order of words, on the other hand, they will also adapt to the situation, and they in the grammar and so on, we have adaptations, so that we also are almost get warnings that, okay, there is something different here, the order is different, at least in English and so on. In several languages it is like that. And for instance, if I have 3 sections here, I have move to, and I have the door, then you can immediately imagine what's the order of words and the order of activity which is there. If I change the order of words, this activity will change. The 3 positions are different, and so the 3 positions make up a different order, make a different effect. So now when I have the door and then move to with just a different order of words, it almost becomes here a dangerous situation, of course, because when the door moves to me, it will if I'm not taking care, the door will be banging to my head. So I have to be careful. The door move to, here we say moves to, the S almost works then to our perception, as S is about an effect, watch the effect. So it almost works like an extra warning. Oh no, the door is moving towards me accidentally, but it can have that as that effect. The S is about that effect, and I, if I have the I just that moves to I, you're not prepared. You move to me, you are prepared, because the M is saying, okay, you have my, I go to my own limits, I know my limits, and I know my limits of what I need to change for it, what I need to do for it, as if I'm almost have a signal, okay, something is going towards me, by the order of words, by the adaptation, even in grammar, I'm warned almost like what's going on. You might think it is accidental, but there are certain letters that helps you to guide you, like, okay, just take care that in this order we have to take care, we have to pay attention to a few extra things as well. Well, I already showed you in this example that the order of words will have an adaptation in our mind, that we see, that we realize what kind of activity there is by images and so on. I also have already gave you an example where the letters themselves also give already signals like, hey, pay attention, there are some changes going on. The letters themselves also have a logical order, an expected order, and also there the unexpected one are not the additional letters, but are more are of a different category, how we have to interpret them. So we have the fixed or expected situation of 1, 2, 3, like ATK. That's 1, the first position in 1, the position in 2, and the position in 3. And these 3 options that you always have are about, like in the number 1, okay, let's we can have that starting point. In number 2, okay, well, let's continue because I have something to work with. In K, I'm no longer sure, it's at the edges, I'm no longer sure, can I still work with it? I'm not very sure. These 3 categories or 3 levels of dealing with things are even more into the full perspective of the 3 times 3 times 3 categories of letters. And that's the kind of adaptation which has an influence to even the fixed positions. Because the words don't use these fixed positions only, they also mix them from 3 to 2 to 1. And there we have to have adaptations. And these adaptations are pushed by the letters. The first category, I already told you, is about the fixed positions themselves. Something that I say, okay, let's use this one, this is good enough. If we would level this up by, okay, but let's use something that is fixed also into a time frame, like you have that in a certain context, let's use that also in a certain time frame. Even there, the things will remain its original, keep its original positions, but have an additional expression and also a little bit of an extra quality to it. The letter A, for instance, is a position that is fixed, ground level. And if we have to move, if we really have to move, if we really have to make a change, we keep the basic things the same. The A will remain the same, we will remain at that level. So if we move position, it's still again a fixed position that we will add one step at a time, the next step, another step, and it's a new, it's a renewal, but it is a new position. So yes, we moved also. With the double A, for instance, we moved also, but yes, we moved and kept the things running. So in general, if we have something of a fixed nature, we will tend to extend it also into the horizontal, vertical, diagonal sense that we have there, into the geometrical sense as well. We will try to continue it. If we really need to uplift it to a level of movement, there will be an addition, there will be some kind of change, and the change can then, if it's space, it's a change of position in space, nothing more, but it will keep the same level. And if we really want to change it again and have to make even more changes, if there's a need to make changes, we have to adapt to it even more, to the situation, to the feedback, to the context. And it can lead to a couple of actions and extra qualities that I add there as well. These actions can be, okay, but what shall I do? Shall I really adapt to something which is completely different? I really might not even know what to do, or I might even force the situation when I want to continue. If I have the A, I will force it. I will try to force it into the same position again. And that's my limit. That is my limit. That's about my limit. And that's something which we would like to have a very simple example with the word add. To add something. You have the letter A in the beginning, which is the point of reference that I will use, and the D is then the changeable condition. And what will be changed will be immediately visible by the order of letters and the words, or even the repetition that you will have there. So the A itself is then the founding choice of a positioning, as if you say, okay, here I have a couple of choices where to start from. Let's start from there. That's basically the A. I start somewhere. I have the object. I have my focus upon the object. I start from there. With D, it's the letter from the fourth dimension, which says I move it forward in space. I move it towards where something needs to be changed, and I change it again from my center onwards towards my center. I need some time to realize what I need to change. I'm not know yet, but I'm focusing upon it towards from my own center onwards as well. I want to change something. I move towards that kind of change. What change it will be defined in the last letter. And the last letter is again the D. So it has an additional D. It is also that move again towards the center. So let's move again up towards that center once more. And that's that is already that option that I no longer am in that first category of let's start from there. But if I do it again, start from there, I'm already in 1 + 1 is 2. I add something extra, and I'm changing already. I change the original here with add. I change the original position because I repeat my action on the same point again towards that center. And as you can understand, why add with 2 D's is actually quite well describing what it's doing. It goes again towards that center and again, and it cannot do anything else than to replace it, because that's what our attention is doing. It's as if there is a renewal. So you can understand that it uplifts actually that level and no longer wants to keep the original idea running alone, but also has a consequence that it will not just be running along and keep all the things the same. No, it will be replacing it, and then again still keep that in its continuation. So in this example you already have that idea, like you can have an uplifting quality to it. While the blue part under the first category or the first line also, it also wants to just use the things as they are and have them developed. In the second category, it's about movement, so it wants to keep it moving and changing in the way it has already an idea in the first place. And even though when I add that again, I have that additional movement again, the only thing that can happen is that replacement, because I have to change it in this case, and with another continuation I have an extra addition here as well. If I would do that the third time, I would even force it to have it an extra something extra in it, even if it doesn't need it anymore, or it's just something like, is it really needed? I'm not sure. There are a couple of options if once you land into the third category. Let's have a better example. Better example is rover. Rover is rover is a Dutch word which means rubber, but I think it's quite clear in the letters what it's describing as something that moves into the third category of a forced change. Actually, you already know the first two letters from the last video. We have R, which you see this running continuously. It's at making a connection. At that point you don't know yet to what you make a connection, but let's find out. In the 1, 2, 3 rule we will find out where it will go to. The O will be seen in the 1, 2 rule where it will go to. It is the attention that says, okay, let's find its direction. Where will we go to? At that point it's the stage 1 of 2. The O is from 1 to 2, and let's see where it will go to and what we need to do. So we can't change the things yet, it's just an attention. Let's see what we can do, let's see what we need to do, let's have a look. That's basically all that it is saying. So it's going towards a point of change. It is prepared for that. And it doesn't say yet what it's going to focus upon and what kind of change that is. That's not visible yet, but it's prepared, let's say. So we have the 1, 2 into 2 that is preparing itself towards what is going to change. And but you have the order of the word here as well. I have already on top described it in which category the letters are. The R in category number 3, the O in category number 2, but the first option of 2, the letter V in the category number 3, but then the second option of 3, and E is number 2, and the R is the number 3 of the third category. I hope it's not too complex to follow the numbers here as well, but that's what I wanted to do. Just follow it with me. So O is, I'm going to have a distance, have a look at what can I change, what do I need to change. I'm having a first glimpse of actually what is going to change. With R and O, it goes immediately to the second position of O, which it doesn't know. So the need to that, or the feel to need to change towards the change, towards the second position, the change itself is more apparent, is more attention to that. Even if you don't know that yet what to reach, it will focus more upon that because the R is first and then the O is coming. So let's focus on the O that is still coming. If the word itself says that it is more important to focus upon the change that will happen. So even though we prepare ourselves only as a preparation with O, the O moves up because of the R. We make already connection to what is needed to change. So our focus is something like, okay, then we have to change it. It's almost like, oh no, okay, I'm going to change that. I will follow it up. I will follow up the change itself more than the preparations. I will do that. I will in fact do that change. I will follow that change. Okay, I will do that. The next letter will be the V. Now, what is the V about? The V is about the changing of the material in position of time and space. That's how I usually describe it, and that's the V. You can see it like it's going from one position into another one in time and in space. That's more or less what it is. That's the position, what it usually will have. So here you have the R and the O we know already from its position, but the V is it is also there, not in the right order, so I have to move it. So we have to move it one step further so that we are able to read our word. So that you have R to O to V. So also there we move it one step further. So we move one step further is instead of V is changing its position. So we already more forcing it further to where we want to have a change of material in time and space. So we want to change the positions also of the material in time and space as we move up towards the other here, and that's where we want to change the position of the material. And even has additional emphasis on, yes, we want to change it, and that's the original position of the but also there we have to move it. We have to move it because ROVE, that's the way how to read it. So now we can have it. The V is of course about that swapping of material. The R is connecting to, so R connecting to the intention to see what we need to do, how to swap the material. And that's what we will do. We will go to that material, so we want to swap it, and we will swap it, and we will change it. And the repetition, just like with the door and the person, the order is going to switch here as well. We're going back to me. So from me to you, to me, I'm going back to me. So it will go back to me. I could have other examples where you can see, it's not just like with the door and the person, if you or the order changes. Here the repetition, which changes the positions the whole time, but you can't help it. It's an order of letters. The order of letters is just the same as order of words. It's going towards me in this case, so the swapping of material goes towards me. And it will also connect towards me, and that's what the rubbing is about. It's my intention first, but I can't help it. I'm going to force it. I'm going to force it even that I want to swap the material from you towards me, and I will do that change, and I will connect it, and I will connect it to me. So I will rub the material from you. And that's basically an explanation of to rub, or in the Dutch word roven. And I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks again for watching. Bye.